The first challenge facing developers in building their super tower was simple: how to keep the wind from blowing it over. The answer? Dig a bigger footprint.
When you think about any tall object, it has to have a certain width to it, a certain breadth of the ground.
Bill Baker is the structural engineer for the Burj Dubai. It's his job to make sure the building can be built to its desired height.
It's like if you're standing there and your feet are together, you're not as stable. So if the wind's blowing against you or someone's pushing against you, you'll spread your feet. And that's one of the things we did on this building.
In order to get the height he needed, Baker designed a unique Y-shaped core with a base as big as a New York City block. Now, it would have a huge footprint with each side serving as a built-in brace against the wind. As the inventor of this new system, Bill Baker had the honor of naming it the buttress core.
We spread the feet through these buttresses. We were able to bring the load outboard. And we used actually the weight of the building to help resist the wind forces. If you had a can of soda and it's empty, it's much more easily knocked over than one that's full.
Along with wind resistance, the unique design of the core also keeps the building from rotating in the wind.
If a building twists and you sit at your desk and you look out the window, you'll see the horizon moving. And that's one of the things that this core does in the middle of the building. It's a hexagonal concrete core, and that acts like a giant axle that goes all the way up through the building that keeps the building from twisting and makes the motions very, very small.
Every detail had to be thought through, including how to pump concrete to heights of 2,000 feet. The sheer height of the building meant that the concrete, covering over 3 million square feet, would have to be pumped higher and farther than concrete had ever been pumped before.
They did a lot of research. They were able to determine that they can pump the concrete all the way from the bottom to over 2,000 feet.
The Burj Dubai was initially commissioned to be built 1,827 feet high, but the impossibly sturdy buttress core has made it possible for developers to return to engineers and request that even more floors be added.
But we figured out a way to make the buttresses more efficient so that they would have these stiffening legs, if you will. You can just keep extending the legs if you want to go taller and taller.
And they do. Without Bill Baker's structural design, it would have been impossible for developers to keep asking for more floors. And yet, already, over 300 feet have been added to its original height. When will they stop? The scheduled completion date is September of 2009. But no one knows the final height. Or, if they do, they're not telling.
Everybody asks us the height, and from the beginning of the project, it was considered to be very confidential, and it still is. In fact, the building was changing so many times, I couldn't keep track of the exact height.
The client will not allow us to say how tall it is. I think we are allowed to say that it's comfortably taller than 700 meters. To give you an idea, the Sears Tower is 450 meters.
Dubai has conquered the sky. An attitude of building wherever the imagination takes you makes its skyline seem futuristic. But before the Burj Dubai took on the record books, the gold standard was set by another